Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're investigating what honestly feels like a modern epidemic. We are going to dive straight into the groundbreaking science, the psychology, and the deeply embedded technology behind a question I know we've all asked ourselves at some point: are our digital habits actually destroying our brains?
We have absolutely all been there, right? You pull out your phone, you just want to check one quick text message. Or maybe just glance at the weather. But then, you spot that little red notification badge. You tap an app, and suddenly, a completely harmless glance turns into a 45-minute deep dive into random short videos. You finally look up, the sun is literally set, and an entire hour has vanished into this blur of content that you're completely going to forget by tomorrow morning. It's basically a universal experience at this point.
And this creates a really powerful curiosity gap that our source material explores. Because when we fall down these digital rabbit holes, are we just wasting a few minutes on the clock? Or are we experiencing what the internet has dubbed brain rot? Like, is this a real, measurable phenomenon that's actively rewiring our minds? Or is it just another internet myth we use to make ourselves feel guilty?
Okay, Section 1, the brain rot phenomenon. Let's look at what this viral term actually means in reality.
So right off the bat, brain rot is not some clinical diagnosis you're going to find in a medical textbook. It's internet slang. Millions of people use it, but it is popular for a very good reason. It perfectly captures that heavy, unfocused, kind of foggy feeling you get after hours of scrolling. You know the feeling where you feel physically drained even though you haven't moved from the couch. Now, doctors aren't exactly writing out prescriptions for brain rot, but researchers are paying very close attention to this. And they care because this slang points to a very real, measurable symptom of cognitive fatigue across society. Our brains are just simply not built to process thousands of disconnected pieces of media in a single afternoon.
Moving on to Section 2, the mechanics of endless scrolling.
To really understand this cognitive fatigue, the source highlights a very specific behavioral loop that drives our attention. And honestly, it operates on the exact same psychology that keeps people pulling the lever on a casino slot machine. It's wild. First, you get novelty, a brand new, shiny piece of content every few seconds. Second, and absolutely crucially, the rewards are variable. One video might be hilarious, giving you this massive hit of dopamine, while the next three are totally boring. But because you never know when that next amazing piece of content is going to pop up, the uncertainty hooks you. Your brain gets locked into searching for that next hit, which overrides your conscious control and very quickly cements a deep, subconscious habit.
Section 3, inside the attention economy. Let's talk about why your time is so valuable.
Here's the thing you have to realize. In this digital ecosystem, your time is an immensely valuable resource, and it is actively harvested using some incredibly complex algorithms. I mean, these systems track micro-interactions you probably don't even realize you're making. If you linger on a post for literally just half a second longer than usual, or if you share a specific type of video, all of that data is fed into incredibly sophisticated recommendation systems. They learn your preferences, your fears, your sense of humor. The result is extreme personalization. It creates a digital environment so perfectly tailored to your unique psychological profile that looking away physically requires a monumental amount of willpower.
Now, it is super easy to just view technology companies as the villains in this scenario. But the reality presented in the source material is actually much more neutral. They aren't villains. They are simply entities optimizing their systems for maximum engagement. Just like any traditional business optimizing for profit, these algorithms treat human attention as a harvestable commodity. They're not inherently evil. They're just doing exactly what they were mathematically designed to do. And, well, they're just incredibly efficient at doing it.
Section 4. The science, fact versus fiction. Let's separate the speculation from the actual science.
When you look at the scientific consensus, there is strong, undeniable evidence that our digital habits are heavily shifting our attention spans. It's also severely decreasing our multitasking efficiency. All that constant context switching, it just wears down our immediate focus. But when we start hearing those terrifying claims that social media is permanently destroying our long-term memory or completely shrinking our brain capacity, the evidence just isn't definitive yet. Researchers are still heavily debating those long-term effects. So while we shouldn't necessarily panic about permanent brain damage, we absolutely do need to understand the heavy cognitive load this technology is placing on our daily functioning.
Section 5. Reclaiming your focus.
Okay, so what do we actually do about this? The source provides a fantastic toolkit of practical, evidence-based strategies to get our focus back. And it really starts with environmental changes. We're talking about establishing dedicated screen-free time, turning off those non-essential notifications so your phone isn't constantly screaming for your attention. But reclaiming focus also requires physical habits. Prioritizing deep sleep and regular exercise are proven ways to reset your brain's dopamine baseline. Engaging in mindfulness or just sitting down and reading a physical book forces your brain to practice sustained, single-task focus. You don't have to throw your phone into the ocean. Actually, scratch that. Sometimes it feels like that's the only option. But seriously, it is simply about practicing intentional technology use rather than just accidental consumption.
Section 6. The Future of Immersion. Let's look at what happens next.
The investigation really responsibly asks what happens to our focus when future technologies become exponentially more immersive. Right now, we're just dealing with smartphones, but consider virtual reality, augmented reality, advanced AI companions, and even early brain-computer interfaces. Think about it. If we already find it this incredibly difficult to pull our eyes away from a flat, two-dimensional piece of glass in our hands, how in the world is our brain going to react to digital environments that feel entirely physically real? The source strongly encourages us to think about these possibilities right now, before highly immersive tools become an unavoidable part of our daily work and social lives.
But ultimately, this brings us to a really profound philosophical realization presented at the end of the source material. We spend so much energy worrying about the algorithms and the hardware, but maybe the core issue runs much deeper than the devices themselves.
The point is, we have to stop blaming the tools and remember that our attention is quite literally one of the most valuable things we own. The algorithms, they're always going to exist, and they're only going to get smarter and more persuasive over time. But when we actively recognize that our time, our focus, and our mental energy hold immense, irreplaceable value, the entire dynamic shifts. We stop being passive consumers just waiting to be entertained, and we step up into the role of active protectors of our own minds.
So to close out this explainer, I want you to calculate how many hours you are trading away to your screen each week. Just think about that number for a second. Now imagine what you could build, what you could learn, or what you could experience if you reclaimed even half of them. Every choice we make about our screens is ultimately a choice about our lives. Take a moment today to reflect on your own digital habits. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next explainer.
Make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And remember to hit the bell to get all the latest updates.